All right, it's Francisco, is that right?
Yeah, that's my name, Francisco. How are you doing, Kris?
Awesome. Hey, so tell me what your question is.
Okay, so first of all, I know I'm a big fan of you for 2 years. I always want to get that out of the way. I would like to say I've been trying to get into real estate investing for since I was 18. I'm currently 20 years old, and I think my biggest struggle is credit, because I hear all these big shot guys always telling me, hey, you need to get credit before you can purchase a house or you can get a loan. And I understand that, but my biggest struggle right now is how can I buy my first property at 20 years old?
All right, let me ask you some questions. So you're 20 years old. Do you have a job?
I do. I work with my dad. He owns a business. He does carpentry.
Okay, and how long have you been working with your dad?
I've been working with my dad since I was 16.
Okay, and you've been full-time for how long?
Full-time for 2 years.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you right now some of what the banks want to see. Number one, the banks want to see that you have a 2-year history of working, because they're going to want to lend to you if you have that. Now, the amount of money that you make is important because it will determine how much you actually can qualify for. So how much are you roughly making a year right now?
Probably 30,000, around that, 32,000.
Around $30,000 a year? Bro, that is really low income. It
really is. I still live with my parents, but my dad's really trying to help me out with just by giving me money. I've been trying to save up. I usually got in a lawsuit by accident because I'm part of owning this business as well. I'm a part owner. I had to pay lots of money to a client, so I'm literally down to $2,000. I'm not playing right now, at least $2,000.
Okay, so you own this business with your father, is that right?
Yes, sir, I do.
So Francisco, you've been working with your father since 16 years old. You've helped finance the business. How much debt are you in with this business?
How much debt am I with the business? I already paid it all because I had money saved up. It was around $23,000 I had saved up because I had to pay some other expenses. So I went to a lawsuit that I don't really would like to talk about. All I can tell you is that I paid for it already. I was dropped to my last $6,000, $6,631 to be exact. And I had to pay some other expenses for my personal self. And now I'm dropped to my last $2,000.
And how did your credit get ruined?
I don't have credit. I just want to know, how can I invest in real estate with or without credit?
Got it. Yeah, what's your credit score right now? Do you know?
My credit score, I wouldn't really know. I think it's low because I never applied for the credit card, to be honest.
Okay, so you don't know what your credit score is at all?
I don't know. I don't really know.
Okay, I got you. So there's a couple things that you got to do. Okay, first of all, you need to know what your credit score is. So just go online to Google and just say, I want to know what my credit score is. And then they're going to pull your credit score for you. You need to start with knowledge. You got to know what your credit score is. Number two, I need you to get 2 or 3 credit cards. These are credit cards that you're going to use, and I want you to pay them off every single month. By the way, if you get a $2,000 card, I don't want you to use $2,000. I want you to put gas on it and pay off your gas just like you would with your debit card. Similarly, I want you to use the second credit card for food, and then I want you to just pay off that food with your debit account. I don't want you to keep a balance. I want you to keep it paid off. You need in total 3 different lines of credit with many banks to be able to qualify for a home. So even though you don't need credit, Francisco, to be able to buy real estate, it's smart to be able to cultivate credit so that you have it available. Does that make sense?
That does make sense.
Okay, so that's the order of things. You're going to pull your credit score from online, and then you're going to apply for up to 3 credit cards, and you're not going to get great cards in the beginning because you're 20 years old. They may ask you to preload $500 on the card and then to spend that $500, and that still reports on your credit. But ultimately, every bank is going to want to see that you have 3 trade lines for 2 years before your credit becomes borrowable. Does that make sense?
That does make sense.
The bank is basically saying, you'd like to get a house. We would like to get you into a house, but we need to first see if you're worthy. So we're going to look at how you've been managing those 3 credit cards. And if you've been using them every month and keeping them paid off, you know what they're going to say? They're going to say, Francisco is reliable, so we can go ahead and lend to him. The second thing that we need to address is you're 20 years old, but you're making $30,000 a year. And so I need you to leave your dad's business and go get a better job unless you can find a way to get the business to pay you more money, because you're young and this is a time for you in your life to learn how to make better money. And for you to qualify for real estate, you're going to have to make $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year, not $30,000 a year. So I understand it's a family business, but as you've been working it, if you can't see a path in the next 12 months to figure out how to increase your income to $40,000, $50,000, or $60,000 a year, then I don't think you're in the right spot. I think you need to look for getting a different job.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense. That's why I'm also going to real estate school as well.
Okay.
I'm trying to get my real estate license here in Texas.
I love that. Yep.
I joined a brokerage so I can make some commission and get all my dad's business.
I agree. If you're a realtor and you go and land even just 3 or 4 deals a year, those 3 or 4 deals a year are going to make you more money than $30,000 more than likely. So I think that's the biggest thing that I'd be focusing on right now is establishing your credit. The second thing I'd be focusing on is how do I make more money so that my hustle can mean something? And then the third thing, I do think that it's actually a good idea for you to learn about how do I buy real estate without needing money. And I wrote a book called The Straight Path to Real Estate Wealth, and it teaches how to do sandwich leases. It's a form of seller financing where you could literally call the renter, an owner of a property that's renting it out and say, hey, can I rent this long term? And they'll probably say yes. And then you say, hey, can I rent it and someday buy it from you? And if they say yes, you can enter into a contract where they're using their credit and their loan with the bank to now basically get you the house. And now you're working on buying a house without necessarily needing credit. Now, there's details to make sure it's profitable. There's details to make sure you do it right. But that's something else I would definitely be pursuing because you should never let your credit score, and you should never let your bank account determine whether you can invest in real estate or not. Make sense?
That makes sense. But would it be possible if I could use my dad's credit score so I can start investing into real estate?
It is possible. Let me ask you, if you're making $30,000 a year, how much do you think your dad is making?
My dad probably makes like 120 last time from taxes. When I saw his sheet, it was like $120,000.
So if he's making $120,000, you got to first talk to your dad and say, Dad, if you want me to be a business partner, I'm 20 years old. I can't survive on $30,000 a year. I need to make $60,000. How can the business help me do that? Especially since you've been carrying liability for the business as well. I would have that conversation. And then can you use your dad's credit score to buy real estate? Absolutely. It's called co-signing. Before you get your 2-year, you have your 2-year work history. You do not have a 2-year credit history. That's why you got to get those 2 or 3 credit lines. But you can definitely have your dad work on co-signing with you, and together you can qualify. And that real estate can also sit on your credit then and also build your credit. And you might qualify for that now versus later. Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
Yeah. So I would definitely talk to your dad about co-signing and just saying, hey, Dad, can you help me get in on my first property? You know, I want to buy a house at a really good deal. I'm going to get roommates. We're going to rent it out. They're going to help pay for the mortgage, but I need help qualifying. Will you do that for me? I'd have that conversation.
And I also want to know, because my dad wants to invest in real estate. He's building some trader homes to start renting out already. But I told my dad about seller financing. Do you think we should be doing that right now when we want to make some deals? We want to find some deals like real estate homes, but multifamily, single families. There's maybe to start doing seller financing on some deals?
Yep, you can do seller financing. You can buy traditional. I think part of it is just, what is your dad assets? Does he have money to put as a down payment on real estate? If he doesn't, then we've got to look at different seller financing deals. And you're going to want to get a coach. You're going to want to find someone that will coach you through how to do that, because most people reading a book, that's not going to make it happen.
I've been reading so many books about seller financing, and they don't really talk about that many good things and stuff. And I've been trying to get a mentor. I don't know like what mentor I should use. I don't know if I should have you as a mentor. I don't know if you have like a certain mentorship that you will require me to use.
So there's a lot of companies out there that'll charge you $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 to have a coach. My company will coach people for as little as $5,000 to $10,000 and work with you for 6 months to basically teach and show you how to invest in real estate. So that might be a possibility you want to explore.
Okay. That sounds like a good deal, honestly. Right? $10,000. I mean, that's like a great deal.
Well, brother, I want to thank you for your time. You've got a list of things that you can do there. You can get in touch with my team. We can talk about coaching, or we can get you a copy of my Straight Path to Real Estate book, and anything else we can do to get you on the straight path. Let's go, man.
Okay, sounds good. I appreciate it so much. Thank you for talking to me about credit. I really needed to know this.
Yep, absolutely, brother. Thank you.
I'm a big fan, brother. Thank you. Keep it up.
Be well.